Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Boss Babes. I'm very excited to be here tonight with you all. We have a very special guest, pro golfer and entrepreneur. He's super young, super sweet, super hip from California. We have Sam Yee joining me shortly. But first and foremost, Hakuna Matata. I'm over here rocking my Lion King shirt. And the reason why I'm doing that is I have a little bit of wet hair right now, as you guys can see. I don't know what's been going on lately, but 2 times in the matter of 1 week, I got caught in a freaking rainstorm walking my dog and just working out outside. So I'm like, I need some good vibes. I don't know why I keep getting caught in the rain. And I don't know if you guys can notice, I have a little bit of green stuff in my hair. I went swimming in the pool. So yeah, I have chlorine in my hair. So I don't know what's going on. I need some good vibes. So that's why I'm rocking the Hakuna Matata shirt. And without further ado, I want to introduce our special guest. Again, so excited to have him on. He has a super chill personality. Sam Yee, out of California. He's actually 3 hours behind me right now, obviously, because I'm out in Boston. Sam, what's up?
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me on the show.
I'm so excited to have you. How are things with you? Let's just kick it off. I know you're out in California. Quarantine has been treating you guys not the greatest. How is it being out in California during quarantine? Are you able to train at all or work out? What is it like out in California?
Very, very thankful that we're able to go outside and go play golf. Yeah, obviously we got to wear masks and keep social distancing, but it's been great to hit balls. I give lessons here and there, and also my main product that I sell is sun sleeves. So I'm very lucky with that.
That's amazing. So you are out in California, and I understand that the quarantine isn't treating you guys the best, of course, but I know you're staying positive, and I wanted to hit you right off the bat with the fact that you have such an interesting style for a golfer. You're here right now with a fitted hat, a really cool sweatshirt. Tell us about your personality and who you are. Like, who the heck is Sam Yee outside of golf? Obviously, I think I heard that you have your ears pierced,
Yeah.
and you have a really cool hairstyle. Where did this chill vibe come from?
Well, honestly, growing up, I loved hip hop. I love hip hop music, and I just grew up in hip hop culture, and I just grew up with a lot of diversity. I had Black friends, Latino friends, Asian friends, white friends. I just grew up with everything, and I just feel like I adapted a lot of the hip hop culture. And hip hop culture is a lot of like hoodies, and it's just a different style. And I didn't want to change that, even if I played golf. So it just kind of correlated into, when I went to the golf course.
I find that very interesting. So growing up in California, I don't know if you got some influence out there, like California love, like the whole Tupac vibe. Where does that whole hip hop vibe come from? Did you have a favorite artist growing up as a kid? I know one of your fun facts is that you really enjoy music.
Yeah.
So who are some of your favorite artists growing up as a kid? And yeah, tell us more about this hip vibe that you have. It's so interesting. Again, like you are a golfer. Like most golfers, you think of them like very clean cut and like the khaki pants. And don't get me wrong, like you look amazing dressed the way you are, but I just think it's so cool that you have a different type of vibe, just like myself. I'm in the sports world, but my whole idea behind my show and my personality is I don't want to be in a suit and tie. Like I want to be able to wear a Lion King t-shirt if I want, or rock a backwards Red Sox hat or Patriots hat. So I really respect the fact that you show your personality.
Growing up, I love Tupac. You hit that on the head. I love Tupac. And believe it or not, I love a lot of East Coast rappers like Jay-Z, 50 Cent. And I don't know, for some reason, growing up, I just really connected with the mentality of like hustling. I mean, no pun intended. I love hustling. I love working hard and going after what you want to do and believe in. And a lot of hip hop is that. It always talks about hustling and getting what you want to get. And that's kind of what I just grew up around. That was my environment.
And speaking of the backwoods Red Sox hats and the Patriots hats, before you and I got going on here, we were chatting about Tom Brady, and you were telling me, even though you live out in California, that you're a huge Brady fan. So hit me with it. What do you think about Tom Brady leaving the Patriots after being with us for 2 decades, winning a crap ton of Super Bowls, obviously, with us, and now he's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What do you make of all this craziness? I mean, as if 2020 wasn't wild enough, and we just got Cam Newton. What do you think about Cam Newton being with us now as well?
Cam Newton I love Cam Newton. I love him as a player. Like, he's so awesome. He's so, like, not the prototypical quarterback. And I'm not a football expert, but I know that he's a runner, right? and quarterbacks are known to just throw, but he's good at running. I think that's awesome. I think that's exciting for the Patriots. As for Tom Brady, wherever he goes, he's gonna do well. That's what I think. Tom Brady's amazing.
I agree with you. No matter where Tom Brady goes, he's going to do very well. I'm excited to see him. Now I'm very torn because now I'm going to be watching the Patriots. I'm going to be like low-key rooting for the Bucks, and then I'm going to be watching the Carolina Panthers because my boyfriend is actually from Carolina, so we're going to be flipping back and forth. We need to have like multiple TVs or something during this football season. It's going to be a wild football season. But let's switch on over to golf. So obviously you are a big golf star. Obviously you are involved with being an entrepreneur, which we're going to talk about later. You guys are now listening to young entrepreneur and professional golfer Sam Yee. He's actually from California. Super excited to have you here with us. You guys are listening to Brittany Baldi on the Boss Babes. Please subscribe to us on iTunes and Spotify. So you were the 2014 One Asia champion. How does that make you feel? You were super young when that happened. Describe those feelings. What was it like winning that championship?
Honestly, it was very emotional because I didn't go to college. I actually forego going to college, and I just wanted to go pro. So it was a long journey up until that point. It was a lot of like not playing well, a lot of learning, but it was very emotional. I remember like my dad was off the green, and I was walking up a hill, and my dad was just standing there, and it was kind of just like, hey, Dad, like I did it. It was a big event, the biggest event I won up to that point, and it was great. It was very humbling, actually, at the same time. So
I think that's so amazing that you had such a great feat at such a young age. And I love that you basically are saying that it was a very humbling experience for a young athlete. And my next question would be, because we're going to talk a little bit more about golf as well, and I like that you just described your failings. What is the big difference between being involved with an Asian tour versus a U.S. golf tour for the people that are listening? Can you describe the difference, or is there any type of difference?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of difference. Well, I mean, just based off rankings, the U.S. golf tour, like the PGA Tour or Korn Ferry Tour, I mean, the ranking points alone shows that it's a lot harder to play in the U.S. In Asia, there's a lot of big events, co-sanctioned events, but it's not, the competition isn't as strong, but there are really good players. But the main difference also is the courses. A lot of the courses in Asia are like in the mountains. So the courses are a lot elevated. A lot of the grass is different. It's a lot of different vibes going on. There's like certain caddies that are out there where it's like one caddy's allowed for one group. So there's like a lot of differences going on with that.
I find that very interesting that you're mentioning that the environment is sort of different.
No.
So if the environment is different, do you have to train differently if you're up in the mountains? Do you have to do elevation training? Like, for example, professional athletes, football players or ice hockey players, if they're going to go somewhere where there's that higher elevation, like Colorado, for example, train differently? Like, do you wear one of those elevation masks to make sure that you're breathing properly? Or walk me through the steps, what it takes to train differently for being in that type of an environment.
Actually, it's a lot harder because you're not really allowed to play the golf courses a lot. So, because all the golf courses in Korea mainly, where I was in Korea, it was private. So if you don't have access to this private country club, you're allowed like one practice round, as opposed to like if you're in America, you can have a little more access to play. So you really got to hone in on the golf course. It's like one practice round, and it is a lot more tiring walking these courses. So you just kind of stay in shape as much as you can, and you just got to be more sharp. But the good thing is everyone has the same playing field. Everyone's allowed to just play one time. So that's the main difference for sure.
Do you find it difficult because you are obviously from California, where yes, there are mountains, of course. Your competition, are some of the people like actually born in Asia and they're competing and they're sort of more used to that environment? Or are most of the people from America or from the States and you guys are all sort of on the same playing fields?
Oh, it was 90% they were born there and playing. It was a lot tougher for me because, I am Korean, but I don't speak the language that well. So it was harder on that part. And then also you have a lot of veterans. So they played that golf course or that tournament many times. And I was a rookie. That it does sound like an excuse, but it was tough. I was very nervous and not knowing how to kind of like function during the event as well.
Of course, you're a rookie, so you're brand new to obviously probably competing at such a high level and then dealing with those environments. So again, congratulations for playing at such a high level and also being the 2014 One Asia champion. Do you have any plans in the future to go back to another Asian tour in the future, or would you prefer to play here in America?
Right now, we're gonna probably get into it, but I'm really focused on my business right now. I do think I will compete again, but I'm gonna try to chase the tours in the US. I don't think I'm gonna go back to Asia anymore.
Yes, you are correct. We are going to talk about your brands and your companies later on, but I do like that you might step on the golf course again down the road, and I'm sure you still play for fun. Maybe you place bets against you and your friends and win some extra money on the side, but maybe they're probably not. I was going to say maybe they're not stupid enough to face you because they know that you're too good. I know I wouldn't be facing you because I know I'd be losing money left and right. I can't even. It's funny. Like I try to go to Top Golf in Tampa. I am absolutely terrible. When I hold the golf club, I like freaking Happy Gilmore it and like hold it like a hockey stick. I'm so bad, Sam.
If you're in California, you definitely gotta hit me up and we'll hit the range or the golf course anytime.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some training because I am not good. I've had a couple people try to teach me. I'm just not good at it. But speaking of being inspired by people in the game of golf, I know that you were highly inspired by Tiger Woods and Anthony Kim as a child.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Why were you so into Tiger Woods? Obviously, that was our generation. We all kind of grew up watching Tiger Woods, but out of all people, why Tiger Woods and Anthony Kim?
For Tiger Woods, it was just like he just demands attention, when he walks into a room or walks onto the golf course. And for me, like he made golf cool. You know what I mean? Like I thought, man, it's cool for me to say I'm a golfer because like guys like Tiger Woods and Anthony Kim, they brought a like certain type of swag. And Tiger was just like had that Michael Jordan type of feel. It was just like it was almost weird for him not to win. And for someone to say that about, in golf, that's ridiculous. Because the statistics wise, he had the best statistic at one point where he had 33% win percentage when he stepped foot on the golf course. In any other sport, that's terrible. But in golf, that's absurd. 33%. 3 out of 10. That's insane.
Tiger Woods is an absolute beast. Like literally when you think of the sport of golf, your brain automatically, there's like certain athletes in certain sports, and you're right. Like when you think of golf, your brain automatically goes to Tiger Woods. When you think of basketball, you go to Kobe Bryant, you go to Michael Jordan. Like there's those certain athletes that you think of when you think of certain sports, and Tiger Woods obviously is that person. So I think that's really cool that you looked up to him. And speaking of Tiger Woods, one of your golf coaches growing up and potentially now, which we could talk about, you said Butch Harmon was your former coach. What was that whole experience like? Being taught under somebody that is so well renowned, so great at the sport of golf, and he is still involved with the sport. I'm assuming that he still coaches, correct?
Yeah, his resume is insane. He's taught over 6 number one in the world ranking number ones. His first was I think Greg Norman before Tiger, and I actually still go see him. We have a good relationship. He actually uses my product. Learning from him has been the most craziest experience of my life. He's one of the nicest people you ever meet, first of all. And secondly, like the wisdom that he has is bar none. He was recently inducted into the Nevada Sporting Hall of Fame with Floyd Mayweather, actually, recently. That's
a really cool, interesting fact. Yeah, before I interviewed you, I did some light research on him, and I saw how decorated of an person he is as far as being a coach and being around the sport. I think that's amazing that you were able to learn under him. Were you the one that reached out to him, or did he reach out to you? I guess, how do you get involved with somebody like that to learn under their wing? Because I'm sure a lot of people probably want to know, like, hey, if I'm trying to become a professional athlete, how do I maybe get in touch with some of these great coaches, whether it be a great golf coach or ice hockey coach? Like, how do you get these connections?
I got lucky because I was playing bad and I was like down in the dumps. I was like, I don't want to play golf anymore. And it was actually my mom that said, why don't you go to Butch's school in Vegas? And I'm like, Mom, you know what? Like, I don't want to go. I'm probably not going to be able to even see Butch. And I just said, okay, you know what? I gave in. I'm like, okay, I'll go. I go, and sure enough, he's there, and he was there for like 3 days. I saw him a little bit here and there, and he finally came up to me. And this was actually for corporate people. It was only for corporate people. I was like the only pro golfer there, and he asked me like, "What's your deal? What do you want? What do you want to do? Are you gonna keep playing?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Butch." And he just after those 3 days, he took me under his wing, which is very rare. I don't think he doesn't really just take anybody in. So I guess he liked me. I don't know. And he took me under his wing. And 6 years, 5 years later, I'm still with him.
Opportunities like that arise, and I feel like it was fate. Your mom told you, hey, just go to this school, and you just bit the bullet. You did it. And lo and behold, here you are, like getting mentored under one of the greatest. Obviously, we just talked about it. You were or still are getting coached under Butch Harmon. You moved out of your house at the age of 15 to train and live with one of your golf coaches, which I think is super interesting. One of my favorite ice hockey players is Sidney Crosby. He plays out in Pittsburgh, and he actually sort of did the same thing with Mario Lemieux, ice hockey god. So he sort of did the same thing where he moved in and was mentored by Mario Lemieux of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was a former captain. So I want to gauge your thoughts and your experience. What was it like moving out at the tender age of 15, living with the coach, and turning into the man that you are now?
It was hard. I didn't want to do it, to be honest. A lot of times I want to go back home. But I think when I look back in hindsight, it really taught me how to, work ethic. My work ethic became like amazing because I was going early in the morning to practice, coming back late at night. It taught me how to kind of just be in a situation where a lot of times when you're young, I feel like you want to just do what you want to do. And it taught me like, if you want to get somewhere, you have to do things you don't want to do. It taught me that. And that's one of the main things it taught me. And being kind of independent, being outside the house, being away from my mom and dad and my sisters. So that's one of the main things it taught me.
It sounds like you learned a lot of valuable lessons from moving out and learning under somebody's wing like that. And if you hadn't moved out, maybe you wouldn't have pushed yourself to be as good as you are now. I have some quick, fast questions for you. If you could have any celebrity in the world be your caddy, who would it be?
It's an emotional one. It would be Kobe. Kobe Bryant was my idol. Like more than Tiger Woods, more than anybody. Kobe was my idol. Like I always wanted to be Kobe. That was my guy. Like, it would be Kobe Bryant, undoubtedly.
I love that answer. Obviously, Kobe is one of the, if not the greatest basketball players. Well, I guess it's debatable because actually when I spoke with Enes Kanter, I asked him Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, and Enes Kanter's response was, team-wise, I believe he said Michael Jordan, but if I remember correctly, I think he said one-on-one he would choose Kobe. Or it could have been the opposite way around, but he did say one or the other was better at being one-on-one and the other one was more of a team player. So I think it's interesting that you love Kobe Bryant, and he is somebody that you used to look up to and that you still look up to, even though obviously he sadly passed away. I like that you brought up the whole basketball situation because it said that you loved basketball as a kid. So you loved basketball as a child. Did you play the sport at all? And then why did you switch over to the sport of golf?
Well, it was this one summer. I love basketball. I played basketball ever since I was a little kid. And up until 8th grade, I was playing like really hard, like every day. And one of my friends comes back one summer in 9th grade. I'm still 5'3", and he comes back 6'3". And that's when I knew, okay, maybe I don't think I can play basketball anymore. I wasn't quick enough. I wasn't tall enough. But that's why I kind of switched over. Like maybe golf is my sport. Maybe I should stick with golf, not basketball.
I think that makes complete sense, that the reason why you switched over the different sports, of course. But here we are. I mean, you could still play basketball for fun, and obviously you're really great at the sport of golf. One of our people that listens to the show all the time, his name is Jay, and he's a huge, huge golf fan. He wanted me to ask you, when you're out on the golf course, what types of snacks do you like bring with you, if any snacks at all? Like, what do you like to snack on when you're golfing?
My go-to was PB&J during tournaments. I loved eating PB&J on white bread and goldfish crackers. So those were like in my Ziplocs. That was my go-to. Those two things.
So goldfish and peanut butter and jelly, is there a reason for it? Like, did you used to like eating peanut butter and jelly as a kid, or like what's the reason behind the peanut butter and jelly? I understand the goldfish, I guess it's kind of like easy to pop in your mouth.
Yeah.
But why PB and J's?
I think it was like a superstition. I think there was like a tournament I played really well when I prepared like a PB&J, and ever since that, it just stuck. I was like, you know what? I played well once with this. I gotta just keep up the mojo.
I love that. That's a really great response. I know that a lot of athletes get superstitious. And guys, really quickly before we continue, you guys are now listening to Sam Yee, professional golfer and entrepreneur. Let's talk all about growing up in California. You have that cool California, almost like surfer vibe. One part surfer, one part skater dude, one part golfer. What was it like growing up in Northridge, California?
It was pretty chill. It was just, everyone's kind of just relaxed, kind of just laid back. Not like New York or like East Coast. Like I hear it's very like you're up, you gotta work, you gotta do this and that. It's just we're just very relaxed, just chill, laid back.
Completely agree with that. I spent 2 years living out in the LA area, and whenever I was out there, I spent a lot of time out in Malibu, and I absolutely loved it. I don't think I ever went out to Northridge. Where is that near? Is that closer to like San Diego or San Fran?
No, it's going north. So if you were in Malibu, you'd be going north, and it'd be like northwest. It's kind of like in the middle of nowhere, to be honest, but it's like 30, 40 minutes from Malibu.
Grew up there, and I believe you still live there now. And I love the fact that you are the son of Korean immigrants. Yeah. What is that experience like growing up, obviously here in America, having that cool Korean background? Do you guys have any special foods that you like to eat, or do you speak any Korean? I know you said that you don't really speak Korean, but do your parents speak Korean?
Yeah, my parents speak Korean. I'm getting better because I'm talking to my parents more. We like short ribs. That's like our main thing. Like Korean short ribs. It's like marinated beef. That's like our favorite food to eat, or at least my family and mine. So.
What are short ribs? That sounds delicious.
It's like kind of like so just imagine like regular ribs, like Texas, like Texas barbecue ribs, but smaller, and it's like more marinated. I believe there's like there's a little bit of, I'm gonna get a lot of flack if I'm not right with this, but I think there's soy sauce on it, a little bit, or some kind of marination on it, but yeah.
It sounds delicious. I might have to check them out. I don't know if I've ever had short ribs before, but I'm a big Southern food and brisket fan, so it sounds like something that I would like. I love that you're very close to your family, it sounds like. I was recently reading an article of you from Sport Asia, and one of your quotes in there said, "My dad works extremely hard to help me play this game.
Yeah.
Without him, it would be impossible." So if you can kind of describe what it was like growing up with your family and the types of sacrifices that your dad and or your mom or whoever you grew up with, those types of sacrifices that they give up for you to become the man that you are today and the professional golfer that you are.
Yeah, my parents, they came here like early 80s, and they didn't speak any English. I think my dad did a lot of like odd jobs, growing up here, and for them, my dad wanted to play soccer. He was really good at soccer, but at that time, you couldn't support a family playing soccer. You couldn't do anything with it. It wasn't a career at that time, I believe. So he really sacrificed himself to provide for his family. And I'm really grateful for the fact that he sacrificed his life for me to play golf. And my mom, obviously, at the same time. They did it, and forever grateful for that.
Your story kind of sounds a little bit similar to a female professional golfer. She's from Massachusetts. I don't know if you're familiar with her. Do you know Megan Kang by any chance?
Yeah, I know of her. Yeah, her name, she's a really good golfer. Really good.
Yeah, she's young. She's around your age, actually. And she was actually on my show. I've interviewed her. She's super sweet. I got to actually interview her in person. Obviously, this was before COVID. But she also describes her parents both made for her to become a professional golfer at such a young age. So I find it very admirable, and I always like asking that question. It's not like your typical, hey, I want to be a math teacher, or I want to be a scientist, or I want to be a ballet dancer. Like, it's very like out of the box type of career. Speaking of your family, I know you already just talked about the short rib, but when you go home for holidays, I always like to ask these questions. What are some of your favorite dishes that you like to eat that your mom or dad makes, or something that you like to cook?
There's this like Korean pancake my mom makes, and it's not like American pancake where it's like sweet. It's kind of like a savory taste. I love eating that with like the turkey, the mashed potatoes, and because we have like if you come to our house for Thanksgiving, we have American Thanksgiving, then we have Korean food, then we have sushi rolls, then we have everything, and then we have like Porto's Bakery, which is like I think it's Turkish or Middle Eastern big bakery. So we have like all these things. So that's like my favorite time of the year to eat.
I'm over here like I would need to come over there and have a meal with you guys because it sounds like you have a little bit of all the cultures kind of mixed into one. And you guys are supportive of one another. Do you have any funny stories that you could share with us? If you have any brothers and sisters or cousins or people that you grew up with, vacation story that you could share with, or something out of the ordinary that people don't usually hear you talk about?
Yeah, man, I got lost in Korea one time when I was like 12 years old. And it was like the scariest thing because I already don't speak Korean that well. At 12, I didn't speak Korean at all. And I'm just like, I didn't know where my mom and dad was. I think we were in a mall. And I was crying my ass off, and then I went up to a lady and like I was like, "Can you just announce my mom's name on the speakerphone?" And she was your mom's name. I'm like, her name is Jay, and she's like, she didn't understand what I was talking about, and it was like a good 4 hours that I was lost, and it was the scariest thing. And I still have like scar. I'm still scarred from it because I'm like I can't get lost in a mall in Korea. It's so scary.
Holy moly, that is a really scary story. And how old were you? It sounds like you were super young.
Yeah, I was 12. I think I was 11 or 12. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, good thing that you're older now, and hopefully that doesn't happen ever again. But I'm glad that you made it out alive. I'm glad that you found your family. But being lost for 4 hours, I can understand how that could be a little bit traumatic.
In a different country. Yeah,
in a different country. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Holy moly. Well, you guys right now are listening to Sam Yee, professional golfer, super young, super chill, super hip, from California. You guys can subscribe to us to iTunes and Spotify. Please follow the BosBabes. Listening to Brittany Baldi. I'm your host, of course. We already discussed the fact that you are a golf star, you love the sport, but you're sort of taking some time off right now to focus on your businesses. So Storyi, or Storyi, I guess, is how you would pronounce it, but I like that it's kind of like a play on words with your last name.
Yeah.
What is this whole brand about? You have specialty SPF clothing, which is very essential for people that live out in California or anywhere that is warm, people that are outside in the sun a lot, that work outdoor, that play sports, that are just fair-skinned and want to go for a walk. My dad, like you and I spoke about earlier, my dad actually got tested for skin cancer. He actually had to have some skin removed, so he wears the UV shirts all the time. Talk to me about this SPF clothing. Why did you decide on it, and why is it so important to you?
So actually, I actually been wearing sun sleeves for like 11 years now, and way before I started making it into a business. And I think subconsciously, I was around people that had skin cancer. Like some of my golf coaches had skin cancer. Some people I knew had melanoma scares, and I just thought, this is a very like serious thing because I think most people, they put sunblock on their face, but they kind of forget like you have to put sunblock on your neck, your ears, your arms, your legs. And I just thought, what a great product for me to bring, where I could bring awareness to something I'm always doing, which is being outside, playing golf, and also bringing awareness to this product that I have, which is sun protective arm sleeves and clothing. And that's kind of why I got into it.
You specialize in the sun sleeves, but yeah. I also saw that you guys have caps and cute t-shirts. So now do the t-shirts and the hats, basically do all the items have the UV protection, or is it just the sun sleeves?
Just the sun sleeves for now. I am looking into clothing and also bucket hats that can help like protect your skin more. These are big bucket hats. You're out in the sun all the time.
Love your t-shirts. Again, you have such a chill vibe. You have one shirt that says golf vibes only, and then you have another one that says legends never die. So did you come up with these slogans? Why are these slogans important to you? And what do you have in store for the future for some other catchy little slogans that you might use?
Legends Never Die actually was inspired for Kobe. I came out with that because just like I said, he has such a big impact on my life, and that was the inspiration behind that. And then with Golf Vibes Only, I just feel like that's who I am. Golf Vibes Only. I'm always thinking about golf. People around me are always thinking about golf, and I just thought that's the vibes that I always portray.
You have this SPF line. You have all these great T-shirts. You have these hats. You guys are now listening to Sam Yee. He's talking about his story. How do you say it? Is it Storyi or Storyi?
Just like Storyi. Yeah.
Very cool. So it's Storyi, like a story, but he spells it Y-I, like his last name. So it's like a fun play on words. Young entrepreneur, what made you want to come up with all these different brands? And obviously, again, the name is inspired by your last name, but I know that you also have Storyi Athletics, which is hoodies, apparel, bags. What is the inspiration behind that? I know you're rocking one of your sweatshirts now. It says Hustle. Is your hat one of your brands too? What made you get inspired to start this brand and sort of step away from golf for a little bit?
So interestingly enough, I started the brand when I got injured in 2016. I tore a ligament in my thumb during a tournament, and I was just I've always wanted to start my own thing anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'm doing nothing. I can't stay still. I started this brand, and the reason why the name came about was because with golf, the interesting thing about golf is no one does it one way, right? Everyone has a different swing. Everyone finds success in their own way. There's no like one formula. And I just came up with Storyi because I'm like, everyone's story is different. And I just thought that's kind of like the slogan that I wanted to go with, because I always picked and choose like people that had success in this game. And it was all so different. And I just wanted to come out with that line where everyone's story is different.
And I think it's really interesting that you started this after getting an injury. You weren't just like complacent and down and bummed on yourself. You were like, you know what? Let me take this opportunity. I'm not able to work on my golf right now, so let me start something else up. So I find that very admirable. While we're on the topic of your brand, do you have any products in the future coming out? And where can people find your social media so that way if they want to either A, purchase something, or B, just look around and browse, give them a shout out. Where can people find your awesome items like that sweatshirt that you're rocking right now?
Yeah, so the website is www.ourstoryi.com. And then with Storyi, there's an I at the end. And in the future, I'm going to be coming out with more merch, different golf shirts, hoodies, hats. And I actually have my product right here. This is the one size fits all sun sleeve. I have 4 different colors right now: white, black, aqua blue, and red.
These products are really great, and I think people would appreciate being able to protect their skin while they're out in the sun, whether they're at the beach or going for a run or doing some goat yoga or whatever the heck people are doing out in the sun. It's great to be outdoor, but to also protect your skin. Anything else that you want to talk about as far as your brand before we switch on over to your charity work? Again, you guys are listening to Sam Yee, young entrepreneur, young professional golfer. He's absolutely killing it at life. His sweatshirt that he's rocking right now says Hustle on it. Big hustler. Loves to follow his dreams. Loves to chase his dreams, as do I myself, which is why I'm happy that you're on here. I love the young people supporting one another. Anything else that you want to throw on out there about your great brand that you are working on?
No, you did a great job. I feel like you covered everything. You did amazing.
Well, thank you. Then we're going to switch on over. So a big part of Boss Babes, guys, you all know from listening to us that we love to take you all behind the scenes with your favorite sports athletes. And with that, we love to talk about their families, what they eat for holidays, what they do on the field, off the field, on the ice, off the ice, in your case, on and off the golf course. We love to talk about how you guys give back in a positive way. So as far as charity, coaching, mentoring, and giving back, what are some ways that you like to give back to the community, to others when you're not on the golf course, when you're not working on your brand?
So one of the things I actually do is I mentor some junior golfers. Whenever they have a question, I open up a forum for them to contact me if they have any questions about tournaments or how they may feel before a tournament, or if they're not playing so well, how they need to think or practice. And also charities wise, I was supposed to this month do a charity called Inclusion Matters by Shane. It's a charity that I work with kids with disabilities. I provide product for them, and actually they play out in the playgrounds. They have these like set up for these kids to play in the playgrounds, and I provide the sun sleeves.
I think it's so great that you're involved with mentoring, a little bit of coaching, and providing the sun sleeves. Obviously, with COVID, you're not allowed to do that, but in the future, might be giving out some sun sleeves or any other charities that you might get involved with. Do you think you might start your own foundation down the road?
Yeah, I actually was talking with some foundations in May, because May is Melanoma Awareness Month. I did a promotion. I was giving out free black sleeves because the black ribbon is the indicator of melanoma awareness. And in the future, I'm definitely going to do some kind of foundation or charity with skin cancer for sure. It's going to be a guarantee.
We love to wrap up our shows with some positive pop. Obviously, you have a ton of good vibes going on, so I know that you have lots of freaking positive pop floating around in your brain. So give me Sam Yee's positive pop.
There's going to be people that tell you can't do it. And there's going to be people that tell you that you're not good enough. And they're just projecting their fears onto you. And I would just say, just go for it. At the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to look back. If you don't achieve what you wanted to achieve, you're going to look back and say, I went for it. And, I'm still obviously still in that process, but the little battles that I've won, it's euphoria, because there has been so many people told me that you can't do a brand, you can't be a pro golfer, you can't do this and that. And I'm blessed enough to say that I went for it, and I'm blessed. And I feel like it was worth it.
Great positive pop. Basically, just aim for your dreams. Even if people tell you not to do it, just keep going for it. And I feel like that's very important in an industry like both of ours, where, again, like we talked about earlier, it's not what we both do is not a typical career choice. So I appreciate you giving that positive pop to encourage others to chase after their dreams. And even if other people are projecting their own bad jujus or fear onto you, to just keep going for it. Social media, where can people follow you? So as far as Brittany Baldi, you guys can obviously follow me on my social media, and the BosBabes, of course. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. But as far as you and your brands and your company, where can people keep up with Sam Yee?
So you can follow me at Sam Yee Golf, which is SAMYI Golf, one word, and then at Storyi Golf. Those are the two Instagram accounts that you can follow. Feel free to message me, and if you came from Brittany Baldi, you will be getting a discount code, undoubtedly.
You are so amazing. Well, thank you so much, Sam, for joining me on here. You were so great. I'd love to have you come back on here, maybe once you have more products coming out, or if you get back on the golf course, or if you are doing a special charity event. I'd love to have you back on here and chat. You were so great. Thank you so much, and we hope to talk with you soon.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. You're awesome. You're great at this.
Thank you, Sam.